Hello everyone, welcome to Gosport Railworks. My name's James, and today I'll be building my very own version of the Southern Railway Z class. I've just finished making this one, and I only printed it yesterday. But yeah, it pretty much looks already done now. But there is a few things which you do have to do to make sure that this runs perfectly fine. So let me just get rid of the body for now. It's a slight snug fit. I do need to do a few modifications on the body. First of all, actually, I'll just show you what I want to do with the body first. First of all, I want to make this an actual door because it's a bit weak down here. So if I make that an actual flat door, well, not complete flat, but you know what I mean, the little cab door just closed on both sides just to give it a bit more strength. This needs to be shortened as it did used to go bit further out up to here. That's a whole centimetre, so probably about half or a bit less than that, just so you can have, if you need to mount anything to here. Don't think you will need to, but just in case. And I think that's about it. I did have some whistles here, but I accidentally broke them off, so I'll be replacing them with some wire. So yeah, that's about that really. For the chassis itself, this is a Graham Ferris LNR 02 or the LMS 8F chassis. I'll just refer to it as the 8F chassis because that's how I know it as. And yeah, this is the LICO end of it. And yeah, it's pretty much a straightforward bit to put together. A little bit fiddly with the valve gear. I have glued it to the front here because I don't have the screws to put it in. And also the screw would screw into the body, which I don't have. And the other bit which is quite fiddly was the valve gear itself, this section here on both sides. For now I've glued it to the bottom of underneath the boiler because it was a convenient place to put it, and it runs perfectly fine as it is. However, I think these aren't actually meant to be placed here. In fact, I'm not entirely sure where they're meant to live. I think they're actually meant to live underneath. I'll have a double check of that. However, one alternative which I'm going to do is basically cut off the bits which I don't need and just glue this to the bottom of basically the bottom of the body here. But yeah, otherwise it just sits on snugly like that. And yeah, it is a little bit on the high side, which is obstructed by this bit here. So hopefully if I can lower that, or just glue it to the bottom and just lower it anyway, it'll be more the correct height. And that's the main thing for that. Otherwise, I can got plenty of space to add more weight, add a decoder, and all the other nice things. So I also do need to add remove a few more bits. There is, I'm going to turn on my top light just so that I can see a bit better. These little bits here, these plastic bits I don't need. Oh, and also on the boiler itself, you will get these little supports. They're made out of plastic, and they get in the way. So remove them and put them over here. That's what I've done. There's 4 of them, and you don't need them at all. Same with this little bit here. Don't need you. And on the other side, don't need you. There we go. And I think there is this bit on the back of the. Make sure I'll just get the bit which I need. Yep, don't need you. Just going to do this just to tidy up the cylinder block. And also it's not needed. Well, the model just makes all. I think that has come out anyway, so that should be fine. Don't know about these little bobbly bits on the front here. I think they're not needed. Don't know where that bit of plastic's gone. I'll find it eventually. But yeah, the only other thing which I'm going to be doing is basically just adding the doors with some plastic art. So just get the plastic art out and just measure it out roughly. Let me just square that off. But yeah, there's really not much you need to do with this kit, really. Yeah, so square that off, and yeah, this is just for my own prototype version. I'm just going to add some doors to the other side, and then I'll spray paint everything black, and it will look correct. And then I'll drill all the holes and all the other lot. I will be making this DC at the beginning, but I will be making it DCC. And there's also plenty of space on the inside to add more weight, which is always a good thing for this. Already a fairly hefty thing, but just to make sure I'll add even more weight. Anyway, I'm going to get on with gluing this onto that, and then I'll tell you a bit more about the prototype as I'm building it. So I'll see you in a bit. The Southern Railway Z-Class was a 080 three-cylinder tank engine designed by Richard Maunsell and intended for heavy shunting on the Southern Railway, the first 8 entering into service in 1929. It was a successful design and would have been built in greater numbers, but an order for a further 10 was cancelled in 1930 due to a reduction in freight traffic as a result of the Great Depression. Throughout their working lives, the Z-Class locomotives remained in their role as heavy shunters in the larger marshalling yards at Heltham, Hither Green, Norwood Junction, Exmouth Junction, and Eastleigh, and proved to be very popular with locomotive crews until they were replaced by diesel shunters of the D313 class in the early 1950s. They were less successful at Nine Elms Yard as the buffer beams overhung the ends of the locomotives by 11 feet in total, which could be a disadvantage when negotiating tight curves in a confined space during shunting. In December 1942, 3 of the class were loaned to the War Department and saw service in Scotland, where their abilities to move heavy freight were needed to move troop trains and war materials over winding routes. They returned to the Southern Railway in May 1943. As more diesel electric shunters were delivered during the 1950s, the class were gradually transferred to less demanding work at Brighton and Tonbridge freight yards towards the end of their working lives. The entire class were moved to the western section of the BR7 region, where their traction was put to good use in banking trains up a steep bank between Exeter St David's and Exeter Central stations. They were drawn throughout 1962, and banking duties were taken over by ex-GWR pannier tanks. A private attempt was made in the 1960s to preserve a Z-Class, however the attempt failed and the locomotive was on the scrap line at Eastleigh Works, leaving none in preservation. Right, here we are with the Z-Class now on my layout, and it's looking rather nice. A few things which I do have to mention is, first of all, it's still a little bit high, however I can't do anything more about that. I've even removed some material off the worm gear cover, which is only soft metal, so it's not that hard to work with, but I can't really lower it anymore. So that's pretty much the best you're going to get. And I think it's about on par with the Gem Z-Class kit. So for the valve gear, which there is actually a little slot which you can slide it into, so you can lower that down a little bit, so you don't have to cut anything off. I would recommend putting a bit of glue on that just to make sure it holds in, otherwise it keeps falling out. Bit of annoying. And the only other thing which I need to do for this particular model is to add some couplings, because I've run out, and add a decoder, which I've also run out of. Also, I think I've inadvertently damaged the pickups on this particular one. It's a bit flaky running. It may also be that my track is quite dirty, and it does need to be cleaned, because it runs generally fine on just having power directly fed into it, but it's still a bit flaky then. So I may need to replace the pickup section. So let me just show you. Come on. Put a bit of power. Come on. It's wanting to around a bit back. There we go. And put in reverse. So does that start off? It doesn't like doing. There we go. This one prefers going in reverse, so I'm not too sure. And I probably shouldn't do it that suddenly. There we go. I'm going to turn it off for now, just so that has a rest. But oh well, it does run. I said hopefully I can improve it, but I think it's just I said I may have damaged the pickups on it, because yeah, I did knock them about a little bit while putting it all together. So hopefully that is the case. But otherwise, also to mention, it is fairly heavy. I have managed to stick a fair amount of weight in it. It weighs 50 grams. And it does have traction tyres, so it should be, in theory, be able to pull a lot of weight behind it. But yeah, I'm quite pleased with it. And now I have another Z-Class. I did have the Gem one, but I wanted one which I can DCC a bit more better than them. And this will fit the newer chassis, so hopefully, just on the off chance the Gem ones end up running out of production, we still have these. So yes. So yeah, let me know what you think. I also did give it the same running number as the one I had before. So yeah, I'm happy with it anyway. Apart from the slight running issues. I'm hoping I can quickly... No, that's not going to be too difficult to fix. But yeah, I have also... Next Leica which I want to build is going to be the same chassis, but slightly changed in a few ways. But I'll let you wonder what I'm going to be trying to build next. Anyway, let me know what you think. Do you like it? Do you not like it? If you do like it, feel free to like, comment and subscribe. Let's make sure I said that right. And if you didn't like it, well, I hope you enjoy your day anyway. And I hope to see everyone next time. So that's goodbye for me, and hopefully, if I can send it off in its way, goodbye from the Z-Class, which wants to move. There we go. Come on. There we go. See you again. Bye bye now.